Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of the Secret Tea Party,
Ooh.
and for the fourth time, because we don't know which one of the Secret Tea Parties is gonna be published first. For the fourth time, I will explain you what a Secret Tea Party
Oh
is.
my god, what is this? We should just have this as a running gag where every single episode is we explain what Secret Tea Party is, even though it doesn't even matter which one comes first. It's just like every time people listen to it, they have to like sit through an explanation.
Yes, this was totally planned. It's definitely not because we don't know which Secret Tea Party is coming first. So.
It's all my fault. It's fine. You have to throw me under the bus at this point.
Okay, so well, it's also my fault. I still haven't published none of the Secret Tea Parties we have already recorded, so...
It's okay.
Well, anyway, who are these voices? This voice is Des, the other voice is...
Mushroom, hello.
Okay, so Des voice is now gonna explain to you that a Secret Tea Party is basically just a podcast subcategory where we just discuss topics that are not related to When They Cry, whenever we are unable to record episodes related to When They Cry. And it's not like this is stealing time from other podcast subcategories, because if we have enough people to record other episodes, we'll record other episodes. This is something we record when we cannot record other episodes, so you don't need to worry about that. And this time, what are we talking about, Mushroom?
Yeah, we're talking about Genshin Impact.
Yo!
Yeah, boy.
The very famous gacha game, in case
Yeah.
you're not aware, Genshin
Yeah, it's
Impact.
called Gay Shit. Gay Shrek. Gay Shrek Impact.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's called Gay Shit Impact, which would also be incorrect.
Gay Shit Impact. Gay Shrek. Yeah, that was on r/place where they made Genshin,
True.
and then somebody changed it to Gay Shit, and then it turned to Gay Shrek.
Shrek. I think we can go through this without spoiling things. If we need to spoil anything, we'll do it at the end, just so we can like incentivize people to play Genshin after they listen to us.
Yeah. So no spoiler. Okay, cool. No spoilers. I'm okay with that.
All right. So we wanted to start by giving you some context as to what kind of players we are, what we've experienced, by first telling you all about our experiences. So I started playing Genshin in 1.3. Which was when Xiao came out.
Yeah, I remember when you start playing Genshin, because you're like, I'm not gonna touch Genshin, and you're like, oh shit, I might touch Genshin, and you're like, oh no.
No, it was because suddenly I found myself with a laptop capable of handling Minecraft, and I was like, okay, I want to play Genshin.
Smart decision. That's yeah, agree.
We forgot to explain what Genshin is. So Genshin is a gacha game, but unlike...
Honestly speaking, I wouldn't even qualify it as a gacha game. It does not feel like a gacha game to me. Like, the gacha element is... It doesn't have to be that prevalent. Like, I would call it more like an open world RPG than anything else.
Where you just happen to have microtransactions. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's the same idea as like, you know, would you call like Final Fantasy 14 like a gacha... Like, not a gacha game, but like...
Well,
like,
but is there a gacha system in Final Fantasy 14?
There's gacha systems in every single game like you play. Like, well, it's just like
But is Final Fantasy? I agree that in every gacha game there's a gacha system. But is Final Fantasy 14? Does it have a gacha system?
What I'm trying to say is, I feel like calling Genshin Impact a gacha game is selling it short. That's my point.
I agree.
I think when people think about gacha games, they think about maybe like Fire Emblem Heroes, which, you know, is still a pretty fun gacha, and like, or still pretty good game, or maybe not actually. I don't even know anymore. Well, maybe.
I put Fire Emblem Heroes and Genshin in the same category of gacha games that actually have gameplay to them.
Yeah. But like, there's also like, you know, not Fire Emblem, Fate Grand Order.
But Fate is the most bare bones shit.
Yeah,
possible.
exactly. Or like, yeah, then you have like shitty gachas, like, you know, the Higurashi gacha.
Yeah, which is basically just Fate again.
Yeah, exactly.
But Genshin has so much more. It has a world you can explore.
Yes, it's literally. So I would rather call Genshin like a open world RPG. It's like playing Breath of the Wild, but you can gacha for cute girls and hot men.
It's an open world gacha.
It's an That's so. We need to come. Okay, I honestly speaking, I think gacha is as bad as a term as the word walking simulator.
A walking simulator? Is that like a term invented for Pokemon Go or something?
No, walking simulator is actually a term made for games like that. That just involves like it's like narrative games. Like some people call like Edith Finch, if you know what that game is. That's a walking simulator. Firewalk as a walking simulator. And like
Hmm.
I think that's selling all those games short because they're incredibly incredible narrative games. Or like that dragon called Cancer. Like and
Is that a game?
yes, that Dragon Call Cancer is a very good game. It's not even a game. It's about this is very random, but that Dragon Called Cancer is about a guy who has his 2-year-old son die of a cancer in real life. Like this is a real life story. And then
Hmm.
to explain his like the intense sorrow that he felt and how it kind of like teared his heart apart about his son dying, he made a game called That Dragon Called Cancer.
Okay.
And in the story, you play as a grieving parent like going through cancer. Like it is so fascinating because you would think like, oh, that sounds really cheesy, or like, how could that be a good game or fun, or like, isn't that exploitative? And you play the game and you're like, oh my god, I'm crying like a little fucking baby. What the fuck? And like, yeah. Anyway, it's just interesting. I like narrative walking simulators. Fuck everybody out there in the world.
Narrative walking simulators. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, sorry. So yes, Genshin Impact. Tell me what.
So how did you get into Genshin? Now it's your time.
Oh yeah. Before that, Des, do you want to say what era you are and how long have you been playing?
Okay, so I stopped playing Genshin after Yola came out. After I failed to get Yola. And then I started playing Genshin again in the update before Yunjin came out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I stopped playing Genshin after I cleared the chasm. In the update, the chasm came out.
Ah.
Because I'll get into it during the gameplay segment of this discussion, but I wasn't enjoying the game anymore.
Yeah. So you played for a long time. Like you played
Yeah.
for is that 2 years?
I think it's a year.
A year? Okay. So on the flip side of Des, who has a whole year of gameplay, I'm friends with people who basically played since launch. So basically didn't miss a day since like launch. Which is really impressive. However, how I got into Genshin is that I basically kind of resisted Genshin for a long time. At first, because I heard it was like, oh, it's like a Breath of the Wild clone, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We were wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe we were gonna do a Breath of the Wild episode. Smiles. But
Yeah.
so basically, I heard it was a Breath of the Wild clone, and then I heard it was a Chinese game. If you have listened to this podcast, you know that I have a lot of opinions about the Chinese. And none of those reasons are the fact because I have spent 10 years of at least upwards to 10 to 14 years of my life in China and has grew up in China and have a lot of opinions about their game and their culture and my love-hate relationship with the country. But so that's one of the reasons I didn't get to play it for a long time because I just had that thought. And also because I'm the singiest motherfucker in the world, I have basically $150 phone that can't run anything. So it can run Bang Dream Girl if you know what that game is, but it can't run Project Sakai.
Well, you're on the European side of how much you're willing to pay for phones then, because I hear in the US people be spending like $500 on a phone, and that's just normal.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots. They're all idiots. I don't understand why would you spend $500 on buying a phone if you're just gonna text and scroll Instagram on when you can use $500 to buy like I don't know a PS5. Like it's just kind
Well,
of
it comes down to the clout. It's the same as clothes. People like to express their wealth, I guess.
yeah, and they express their wealth in a stupid way. Anyway, sorry. Let me continue. So then, for the longest time, I also didn't have just like this. I didn't have a computer that can run games. Like I didn't have a gaming laptop. Like I had a laptop.
At least you could play Minecraft.
True. At least I could play Minecraft, and I could run like Premiere and Photoshop, but just like maybe like let's say like 5 months or 4 months ago, my computer died, and I bought a laptop like a $700 laptop off my friend. It was like a gaming PC, which he sold me very cheap, comparison to the actual price how he bought it. And so now I have a gaming PC. I was like, very good. What should I play on my gaming PCs? Disco Elysium, I guess. Which actually happened to be the reason why, since I got into COVID,
I got into COVID. Some people had told me it was a great story, so I decided to get into it.
Okay, so basically, I got really into Genshin maybe around when Yunjin was first introduced. So when Yunjin was first introduced, I was like, oh my god, she is so fucking cute. She sings Chinese opera. I really like Chinese opera, and like I really like her design. I'm a humongous Wa Lolita fan, so like her whole like dress is just so cute, and I was like, oh my god. And then the night that I realized Yunjin existed, I got onto like a complete like brain rot where I went on Bilibili and went to find all of the Chinese like famous Chinese opera singers covering Divine Damsel of Devastation. It just like I watched, like I literally sent my friend a whole complete playlist, and I would call my really good friend who is a played since like the first day of launch, about like I was like, oh, let me tell you my brain rot about like Chinese opera and Yunjin and how cool it is that they designed her this way and blah blah blah. And then literally my friend said this to me. She was like both her and I have 500 hours in Breath of the Wild, like at least. So she was like, I'm not telling you that you're gonna love Genshin, or I'm not telling you you should play Genshin, but I'm telling you, you're going to play Genshin. You will play Genshin. And I was like, what is this, a threat? She was like, it doesn't have to be. So basically,
that's the most passive aggressive threat ever.
Well, no, she's not. She wasn't being passive aggressive. She was being coy. Like, she knew. She fucking knew.
Okay, so do we want to explain to our audience why Genshin isn't a Breath of the Wild clone?
Yeah, we will. I will get there. I hope I can convince everybody in the end that Breath of the Wild, like this Genshin is definitely not a Breath of the Wild clone. But yes, I just want to finish my thought. So around May, late May, I got COVID, and after I got COVID, I was just like depressed and at home and playing like Minecraft all day. And my other friend was like, I'm downloading Genshin. And I was like, wait, you're downloading Genshin? I'm downloading Genshin. And then that's when it started. Basically, if Des have told you how he got to like, he played for a whole year and that's how he got it. I basically played only for 2 months, and or maybe like a month and a half, and I'm currently AR50. So I hope that,
which means she played a lot, for those who don't play Genshin.
Yes, which means, so currently the highest level you can get is AR59, but the last like AR55 to AR59 is a long journey. So I basically played a lot. And it's great. I fucking love it. I think the game is good. And it's honestly, every time I talk about Genshin, I just think about like, oh, it's the perfect game that ties me over between like to think about Breath of the Wild 2, like from like exploration. Wow. So yeah, that's my credential. So we are two very different players. So I'm a very new player, but I'm extremely into it right now. And Des is an old player who's kind of, falling off the tracks for a little bit.
Yeah, I've only been playing since 1.3, but I know everything that came before. I know most of the theories that have been made about Genshin, so I'm pretty knee-deep into it, even if I don't play it anymore.
Yeah.
Genshin.
So should we talk about why is it not a Breath of the Wild clone?
Yes, indeed we should. You want to start?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts first. Exploration-wise, I can understand why people are like, oh, it's a sandbox. Like, not a sandbox. Like, this is an open-world RPG. It's just like Breath of the Wild. Look at this hill. It looks like Breath of the Wild or something. Like, But, like, what I think is... also, just on a funny story, me starting Genshin started my whole nationalism arc, so I'm currently on my nationalism... Wait, have I told you the story yet?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so basically everybody in my life, they're like, Mushroom's really into this because this is on her nationalism arc. And I was like, yes, because just like I said, I have a lot of very conflicted feelings about China, but like that doesn't mean that I don't like Chinese culture. Like I studied classical Chinese when I was in like high school and middle school. Like I read lots and lots of Chinese literature. I know, like, I was very in tune with the Chinese culture. Like, I liked opera. And I liked history. But like, you know, like, it doesn't mean that I liked, like, it doesn't mean that I love everything bad about China. Like, you know, clearly. So like, what's cool about Genshin is I get to live that part of like Chinese culture I like without like having to like deal with all the things I hate about it. So like, for example, like Genshin, because it's a Chinese game, it actually really, like, Li Yue is designed so beautifully in a way that like makes me really happy, because I feel like, you know, you see a lot of like, you know, lots of people's takes on like faux European like medieval fantasy setting, like, you know, Mondstadt is that, like, you know, and it's not, doesn't even lean that hard into it. It's just, you know, a normal German looking town. And then, you know, when people make like a Chinese, like, people make an area, like an Asian area, it's mostly Japanese, like a Japanese, like, you know, towers and pagodas, or, you know, like stuff like that. And, you know, because it was made for like outward consumption, it's like very orientalist in that way of like, Asians, like there's a Chinese garden, there's a Japanese pagoda, and like this, like all of that, like all merged together. But like, because Genshin is made by like Chinese people, like they made, like, Li Yue is like certifiedly Chinese. Like, it's funny to me because people would be like, oh, like the Lantern Rite Festival looks like, you know, like, I don't know, Tangle, or like, oh, it looks like, I don't know, Miyazaki movies. And I was like, my dude, like, it's just like funny to me that people don't understand, like, culture came from somewhere and it didn't just spring forth in this like anime you watched when you were a kid. Like, and that's what makes it very different from how Breath of the Wild does it. Also, Genshin does settlements, like human settlements, very well. Like in Breath of the Wild, there's only like 5 towns in total, and they're all very small, and like, you know, you have the bare bones of the town. But like Genshin actually builds like cities in a way that like feels like cities. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
and
towns too.
Yeah, and like small towns, and like for every area there's like other small villages that you can just go visit, which is like really cool.
Yeah, it's not like it's like reality level, but it's better than most games.
Yes, and like it's also better than Breath of the Wild, which you know people like to compare to. That's what I think is built really well, is like the world is built really well.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest criticisms of Breath of the Wild, is that Zelda has so much lore that they could both expand upon or create new threads for the Zelda lore in Breath of the Wild, and they just kept it so bare bones.
Well, they also not only kept it so bare bones, they also kept it they kept it very, very subtle, like as in like, oh, this is the long ranch of Twilight Princess or something. Like,
yeah, but that's the extent. That's the extent to where the war in Breath of the Wild goes. It's just visual references.
Yeah, exactly. Like, which I actually think is not as good, because, you know, one of the things I really like about Genshin. Okay, if people are curious, this is not me talking about how much I don't like Breath of the Wild. I fucking love Breath of the Wild. I have 500 hours in it, so fuck off. Like, but I was gonna say, like, one of the things I really like about Genshin is there's so much care put in like random NPC conversations. For example, I have a friend who's just started. Ambi just started playing Genshin. So when Ambi started playing Genshin, Ambi pulled Beto very soon, like very fast. So I was like one of the first people he got.
Me too, actually.
My first Electro character outside of Lisa was Fischl.
You motherfucker. I spent like half my playtime trying to get Fischl. And it hurt me every time I went online and they said, oh, Fischl is one of the best free-to-play characters that is given to you for free. And I'm like, fuck you, she's given to you in 1.2. I started playing in 1.3. She's not free-to-play for me. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Fischl, you don't want to get Fischl. You want to get Oz. That's what you want.
No, I want to get Fischl. Like, she's a chuny. Every time a chuny is in a piece of media I consume, they're instantly one of my favorite characters. So yeah, no, I wanted Fischl.
Fischl is very funny. Anyway, sorry. So he got Beto, and one of the funniest thing is he doesn't really know who Beto is yet, because he haven't been like to Li Yue or done any of the Li Yue plot. But what's really fascinating is that when he was just like running around the inn, in the Washu Inn or something. I forgot what
Wangshu Funeral
Wanshu, yeah,
Parlor?
not Wanshu. The really tall like inn that's in the trees.
Oh,
so when he was
yes,
around
yes.
there, he just met a random NPC who starts talking about. He's like, "Oh, I love Beto. Like Beto is so cool. Like one time she saw me and like made eye contact with me, and it was amazing." And then the other girl's like, how did you make eye contact with her? Did you make eye contact with the side that she had an eye patch on? And then he was like, oh, well, that's still an eye, and blah, blah. Like, they just kept having the conversation. And Ambi was just surprised. Ambi was like, oh my God, it's kind of like basically hearing gossip about your friend. Like,
Yeah.
And he was just like, I haven't even met, like, he's like, he has Beto and he plays her all the time, but he hasn't actually officially met her. But like through the world and subtle conversations, you get to learn more about her.
Beto is actually a meme, and she was a meme for the longest time. Because canonically, she's one of the last people the Trevor ever meets. So for the longest time, there was this meme where every new version of the game, we would be like, is this where the Trevor is finally gonna meet Beto? And then it wasn't. And we were just like, holy shit, this character just came out and the Trevor is meeting them. Beto has been in the game since the beginning. When are we gonna meet her?
That's so cool. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think Genshin feels like a world well lived in. Like, because like, people from different nations go travel. Like, you could tell where they're from their names and their clothing design. And then they talk about people and you're like, how the fuck did you know them? And they're like, we were like, it's just so incredible. Like, I think that's what I find really fascinating about it, that it feels so much more connected and feels like a well lived in world.
Yeah, I believe I was gonna say Xenoblade. I believe Breath of the Wild also has that, but Breath of the Wild has like 5 important characters. Genshin has so many that you can make so many references to so many characters in so many different ways that it actually makes it feel like a connected world. Like
Yeah.
in Breath of the Wild, who were you gonna mention? There's like nobody in the story. Like the champions are dead, the king is dead. Like, who were you gonna mention? Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think like this would lead on to us to talk about story now, but like I love Breath of the Wild. I'm pretty sure I read the first 20 pages of Breath of the Wild fanfiction on AO3.
Huh?
I read every single first 20 pages of the top kudos of Breath of the Wild. Like, I can tell you that like Calm Water Runs Deep is my favorite Breath of the Wild fanfic. If that doesn't explain to you my Breath of the Wild fanfic credential, I don't know what can. It's like basically a 28 chapter. It's like a whole series of stories. It's very good. Anyway, the point of my story is, while I love Breath of the Wild, they really do nothing to write their characters, nor story, nor plot. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I think the lore is really interesting of Breath of the Wild. I think the implications are really cool, but they do nothing in the game to help you. Like, I think Zelda in Breath of the Wild is adorable and I love her, but in game-wise, she's incredibly unlikable and just bad as written as a character. Her implications are good, but they never really like live up to any of the ways how they write it.
Yeah.
Well, which is completely the opposite case Genshin.
Yeah.
I walked into like Des, I'm not even joking. I walked into Genshin thinking like, I like the anime characters. The gameplay is gonna be fun, and the game is gonna be pretty. But like, the plot could be stupid, or like the characters can be bad. I don't really care. I started playing Genshin. I was like, why the fuck is this character so good?
Yeah, you start playing Genshin and maybe you go through the months that plot and like kind of only half reading it because you're not expecting the story to be really good, but then it starts getting really good and you're like, fuck, I didn't read everything before this. Now I'm interested.
Oh, 100%. 100%, yeah. I walked through Mondstadt plot being like, this is kind of boring. I don't really care. It's like, you're fighting a dragon.
And to be fair, it is kind of boring because you're not aware of how great the story is going to become.
Yeah, and then you get to the UA plot, and then you're like, okay, I'm meeting too many people right now. Like, you basically meet, like, every 5 feet you walk, you meet a person, and they start talking about what their opinions about current politics are, and you're like, my dude, I don't understand what you're saying. And they're like, it's fine, bye. And then you're like, okay. And then you start doing like character quests and you're like, oh, I see where this is going. And then when you go to Inazuma, you're like crying left and right. You're like, why am I crying over middle-aged men? Yeah. It's kind of crazy to have such a good plot in Genshin.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to separate plot from lore because
Yes, we can separate plot from lore.
I consider plot to be the narrative through which your main character goes, and plot to be everything. Because I am dumb and I literally just said the same thing twice. I need to revise this. I meant plot is the things that our character goes through. Lore is everything in the background. I usually just copy and paste the same word that I have said previously in the audio recording, but this time there wasn't any other time that I could copy and paste the word lore from to fucking fix this problem, so I had to record this part, because sometimes our brains just die during recordings. Funny little quick piece of trivia about the When We Cry podcast. This happens way too frequently.
And lore is everything in the background.
Things that happen in the background, exactly. I think this lore is actually fucking amazing, because...
Yeah, I don't understand how Genshin was able to make this much lore in a small game. Like, not a small game, but like in a game that's its first installment. Like,
yeah.
Breath of the Wild, like Zelda in general. I know we're talking about Zelda, but it's just because it's the first game it pops in my mind. Zelda in general has 30 years of fucking lore, or 20 years, or 30 years almost now. And like Genshin is like, this is our first installment, and we wrote out 10k years of history of the story.
Yeah, like Genshin lore is interesting, but especially the Liyue. Trying to say a sentence with two different L pronunciations is really hard. The Liyue lore,
it's very fun.
It reads like Greek mythology. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is like Greek mythology. It is true. And like, it's really incredible because you get to know so much about the characters you meet. And the thing is that what I really like is that not only large quests help you understand the people, and also small quests does. One of my favorite quests in Liyue, which I thought was incredibly annoying, is the treasure found, treasure lost one, or treasure lost, treasure found, which is the quest where you have to go around to the Guili Plains to like go find a bunch of stone tablets. And it ends with the conversation you have with the researcher, which I really like, which is that the researcher is like, Guili, not Guili, what's her name?
Guizhong?
Guili, is Guizhong her name, or Guili is her name?
Guizhong. Because you have the Guizhong ballista.
Wait.
Are we talking about his wife?
Yeah.
Then it is Guizhong.
No. Okay.
Are you gonna mention the name of?
It's Guili Pain. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil that part. I'm just. It's Guizhong. So what I fucking love about the Guizhong thing is that even if you haven't done Zhongli's first or second yet, which I haven't finished doing, you hear about this whole thing about Guizhong, and then my favorite part is when you finish that fucking quest, you have a conversation with the researcher, which she says, Guizhong was such a kind goddess, and kind god type, and she was like, she tried her best, but she failed in the end, and she died in the end, and then your traveler could say, oh, I wish I got to meet her, and she was like, oh, meeting a god, what a funny thought. And the researcher replies to you and says what would you want to say to her if you meet her? And the traveler doesn't know what to say, and the researcher goes on and she says, I would just recite her words back to her to tell her that all of the things you believed in still lives on in the people of Liyue right now, and that you didn't have to worry. And I was like, what the fuck? This is the most annoying fetch quest that I have to do, and it ends with the best fucking conversation. It was like, I hated that quest because I literally couldn't find the stone tablets for so long that I had to Google where they are. And after I finished that quest, I was like, wow, that is so good.
See, that's exactly why I stopped playing. The story was good. The gameplay gets really annoying after So many hours.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the things that keeps me from not getting bored of the gameplay is making new teams. I'm currently on my second team. Like, we could talk about which characters we like using, but like my original team was Rosaria, Xiangling, Barbara, and Noelle. Clearly I I had 2 healers on my team, but like those were my original team. But then after a while, I got really sick of playing polearm characters, even though I really like polearm characters. So like my current new team is
Wait, you had 2 healers? Who is the second healer?
Noelle's a second healer. She doesn't heal that well, but she's a healer.
Yeah, she does have that ability, yeah.
But my second team that I'm currently using a lot is Yanfei, Ketching, Yunjing, and Barbara. So, and just like by building new teams, it's more fun because I can experience different play styles. For example, like I literally hate using Catalyst users for the longest time because it feels not as instant as stabby, swing. and also because I built my Yanfei with really good damage but horrible defense. So she basically, if she gets hit, she like loses 5k health, and I'm like, fuck.
But Yanfei's animations are so good.
Yeah, Yanfei's animation is good.
There's that one that she's like playing volley or something.
Yeah. So that's what makes it fun for me. Like, and yeah, story is good. Genshin story is really good. Like, I wouldn't have thought, like, so what I really like about Genshin characters is that, you would look at the characters you meet in Genshin and you would think, oh, they're just typical anime girl characters, You got Kitching, who looks like the tsundere girl,
and she is, just not for you.
Yes. And then, you have characters like Mona. Mona literally looks like that girl from, it's not Log Horizon. Is it, do you know what I'm talking about?
Not sure.
Fuck. I'm having a brain dead moment. Anyway, Mona looks like a girl from another anime, that I think it's, is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon?
Oh, Hestia.
Yeah, she looks like Hestia. Doesn't she look exactly like Hestia?
I mean, she has the twin tails and black hair.
But but Hestia, they have the same voice actor.
Oh, really?
Like for Japanese.
That's interesting. I play English. So.
No, not Hestia. Oh no. Fuck. I don't even think it's Hestia. So anyway, somebody else.
Well, if you say they have the same voice actors, you just need to.
I'm pretty sure they do. Anyway, my brain is dying. Anyway, so if somebody else can in the comments, or if I remember it before this episode comes out, I'll be able to.
Wait, we can just look up the voice actors for Mona. I'm trying to see the characters that kind of look like Mona.
Yeah.
Nobody here looks like Mona.
SMH, my head.
I mean, she voiced Roxy, but they're not that similar. They have nothing to do with each other aside from the fact that they're magicians.
One day I'll remember what it is and I could be like, yes, I told you so, but before that I will be...
Mona sounds the same as I remember, but where's the name I'm trying to think of?
Okay, anyway, so Mona just looks like she looks like the type of character people would draw lots of lewd art of.
That is definitely the reality.
Yes, which they do. Yes, but my point is like, what I find fascinating about Mona's character is that when you get to talk to her, she actually has a really, her whole, personality is very different from the design she gives off. You would think, Mona also looks like a tsundere girl,
True, she does. But she isn't.
Yes, but she isn't.
It confuses me.
But that's what makes Mona good. I literally looked at Mona and I was like, I fucking hate her because her design looks really basic, hot tsundere girl design, and that's boring. And then I did Mona's story quest, and then Mona's character quest was just being like, oh shit, I'm so fucking poor. What the fuck? It's the funniest shit possible. She comes off as a completely she's very prideful, and she has a lot of opinions, but she's just incredibly funny because how poor she is, and how she's everything costs so much money and I don't have a place to live, and it's good. It's a way more interesting character to give her than to give her as girl being, I don't want to talk to you, like kind of like that.
Well, to be fair to your initial assumption of her being a tsundere, because she has such a tsundere personality, even though she doesn't have the tsundere trait, the community as a whole, essentially, we have this headcanon that she's a tsundere for Scaramouche, because there was this event in 1.2.
Oh, yes! Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where she and Fischl team up together to take on Scaramouche, and she's just so bitter as Scaramouche that we're just like, okay, that's the one she's gonna be a tsundere for. Even though she isn't sweet to Scaramouche in any of the events, she's just bitter. We're gonna just headcanon her as tsundere for Scaramouche.
That's actually really funny because the only thing I know about Scaramouche and Mona is the thing that my friend told me, which is that Scaramouche one day, the Scaramouche during that event told Mona to be like, hey, Mona, do you know that skies aren't real? Like, stars aren't real? And then Mona's like, what the fuck? I'm an astrologist. Like, that's literally what I do. and then it's just like, and then my friend was like, and then no explanation. They never talk about it.
Yeah, I hate how that's a limited event thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, MiHoYo learned their lesson, and now everything that's plot related is permanent, but like fucking hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really want them to rerun some old events, or like being able to like access old events, because I heard so many good stories, like good things about the Golden Apple Archipelago, the quest that you do before, like the whole area that you go to.
It wasn't that fun.
I heard the music is very good.
I don't remember the music. It was mostly fun because we had both mechanics, but then you get to Inazume and you have both mechanics, so...
Yeah, but you're in boat mechanics in the fog, and it's fucking annoying every time you're trying to navigate. That's my thoughts about Mona, but who's your favorite character then?
Okay, putting Fischl aside, because that would be too easy an answer. Let's see, who is my favorite character? God damn, this is a hard question to answer. I like so many little things about so many different characters.
Yeah, I mean, we could just also talk about so many little things of so many little characters.
I think my favorite would have to be Zhongli. Because
yeah, that's a very standard answer.
It is, but he's like
good.
The figurehead of the most interesting piece of land in the game.
It's also it's funny because I think the thing I find really unfortunate about the US plot is that the US plot is so good, but it's so confusing on your first read.
It is. Okay, going back to...
Because you meet like 40 characters and everybody wants to talk politics with you, and then when you finally get to a point when everything gets revealed to you, you're like, wait, I need like 50 hot seconds just to understand what the fuck did you just told me.
That is very true. I wanted to go back to the plot just to tie this back, to explain to our viewers like how Genshin plot works. So the reason Liyue is so fucking hard to understand, even more than Mondstadt, is because, number one, in Genshin, and just like in real life, big historical people and places have more than one name. Maybe different civilizations called the same thing a different thing. Maybe this deity was called something in one age, and then in the next age it was called another thing. But you have to connect all of those dots together because the story doesn't tell you that. It's like you're uncovering the lore by yourself, so you have to understand, okay.
It's like actually learning fucking,
it's like being a historian.
European history.
Yeah,
it's literally like being a historian. Like, another really small detail that I really love that Genshin does is that, you learn a lot about like the names of the gods and stuff like that. And I love the fact that there's two people's names that I find it really fascinating, which is in Mondstadt, their god is called Barbados, and there's actually a character named Barbados, named after the god, which makes a lot of sense in in real world setting. Like, you would name your child like Mary after like the Virgin Mary, or you name your child Jesus because after Jesus, like after that. And then when I was talking to my friend about this, and I was like, oh, it's so cool that like there's a character named Albedos after the god, and and my friend was like, yeah, that's why Barbara's name exists, because it's like it's also, it's a feminine version of that name.
Oh, I never thought about that.
And I was like, holy fuck, like I was like, because it's Barbados, Barbara, like
yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much fucking sense. And like that is something like, you know, we developed as like a culture, like very naturally, like that you would name your like, you know, if you were religious, you name your children after religious names. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, and I was like, that's so cool. Like, I'm so glad that you could like deduce that from like their names. And like, it's also funny because that's one of the reasons why Mondstadt has a humongous church, because the fact that their archon is not around, like that's why both like Inazuma and Liyue doesn't have to have that, because you know they just know that their god is around somewhere. Like
Yeah.
they don't need a humongous church to like, you know, have a figure.
That's another thing. The cultures just feel so dynamically different. It's like stories usually make different cultures by having them have
Look different.
look different. Yeah, but in Genshin, the way they work, the way the people interact with each other, like the traditions, all of that is tied to their city. It's
Yeah, and their characteristics. Like
yeah,
it's very like, you know, like Mondstadt is about like the city of freedom, and like that's like humongous plot point for a lot of characters from other places, that they would be like, oh, I really want to go to Mondstadt because like I know that they're a city of freedom and I always wanted to be free. Or other people being like, oh, fuck Mondstadt, they don't have laws, I heard. Like how fucking barbaric. That's
yeah.
disgusting.
That's another really cool thing, because like Mondstadt is the city of freedom, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have laws. But like if you're an outsider and you just hear, oh, Mondstadt is the city of freedom, obviously you're gonna assume maybe it doesn't have laws, and some NPCs actually think Mondstadt doesn't have laws, even though it has a whole
Yeah.
night corps.
Also, I think we can do a whole fucking section about Genshin's food, because I have so many I have so much opinion.
Did you know there's a channel that just makes Genshin food IRL?
Yes, I do. I do. I follow them because I want to make them. So, actually, I have I'll send you a picture right now. This is a picture of me and my friend, who's the person who got me into Genshin, that we made this. Here. Ta-da. So this is my friend who who got me into Genshin, who played on since day one. We thought it would be really fun. Like, she's a vegetarian, so I was like, oh, this will be really fun. This is probably the things that you can eat the most. But yeah, do you see the picture now?
Ah, you made the Raiden Shogun thing.
Yeah, tricolor dangles. And like, so one of the things I love the most about Genshin is not only the food, but the NPC's conversation about food. Like, everybody has so much fucking opinion about food. Like, in Chinese, there's a very famous saying which is called like 皇与食为天人 no 皇与人为天民以食为天, which means the emperor sees their people as their god, like as in like, or like the emperor sees their people as the most important part of their his life, but people sees food as the most important of their lives.
What? Does that imply the emperor eats the people metaphorically or something?
No. It implies that like the emperor should care for its people, but the people don't care about the emperor. The people care about food.
Oh.
Does that make sense? It's a very classic Chinese saying. So like what I love about it is that like there's a whole, like, if you walk around Liyue, you could just go listen into like NPC's conversation about them arguing about like, oh, like I don't like this food is too spicy, how could Liyue people eat this? Like the whole quest about like Xiangling's quest is about how like it's like difference in food opinions. And like there's like this couple there's these a couple of people on the bridge on Liyue on the second floor, like right above, like right across from the tea house. There's two people who just argues about which Liyue restaurant is the better restaurant.
Ah, yeah. Isn't that a part of one of the quests too?
I don't even think so. Or maybe it is.
I think it is part of Child's quest. You need to like decide in which restaurant you're gonna eat.
Really?
It's really cool.
That's I haven't even I haven't done Child's Quest. I am on my way. I'm on my way unlocking a bunch of people's story quests, so I'm working through that of like bit by bit. But it's so fascinating to me because like they just like the game just has these like incredibly funny conversations. Like even like really random, like really like small conversations about like, oh, like this is what I think the history is, or like, you know, the flowers here grow better than the flowers up the hill. Like all of that like factors into the part of the lore of like, you know, Genshin, and especially which, you know, I just it's such a like story rich area. It makes me really think that like it really shows that like, you know, because like I feel like the devs are Chinese, they just like made the Chinese region have like they just put
The
so much
best,
effort
the
into
best
it.
everything.
On another note about Genshin is that I'm really happy that Genshin is a free game, because I have no idea why would it have been free, because it's so good.
Well, because I think most companies have realized that.
I actually I do have my personal reasoning why I think it's free, but sometimes I'm playing the game and I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Isn't the free game market just by itself really large in China?
Yes. So yes, since this is a very good point you mentioned. So I spend like most of my elementary school up to middle school years in China. And the thing about China is that you don't have games in the way that like, you know, you can't buy a Switch in China until like, I think like literally 2 years ago or something. And then
You
like,
had bootleg versions.
yes, you have bootleg versions. Like you don't have PS4s, you don't have PS3s. Like if you want a PSP, you have to buy it in Taiwan or like import it from Japan, which will cost you a lot of money. The only person I know that had a Wii was from Taiwan, and I was like, "What the fuck is a Wii?" And I got to play like I just remember playing Brawl on her computer, like on her Wii, and I was like, "This is amazing."
But
then,
are these bootlegged versions like from other companies, or are they specifically made by like a Switch made by Nintendo but altered to be sold in China?
okay, so the thing is that the reason why Nintendo stopped selling any of their consoles in China, that's why they have a whole complete console ban in China, is because China keep making bootleg like Game Boy Advances and 3DSs, and like to the point that like Japan just stopped importing anything to China, like because of that. So then at a point, like if you wanted to get like the legit thing, you will have to buy it from like outside of like mainland China, and then which just means that like you also couldn't like there wasn't any bootleg Switches. They're not bootleg Switches, but I mean bootleg PSP or bootleg bootleg
Wii?
like Wii. It was more like it's like like it just would look like a shitty Steam Deck, like if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So Chinese people don't have the habit of buying game consoles. So they're all PC gamers. That's why League of Legends or like, you know, Dota or, you know, StarCraft,
Apex, every every PC game you can think of.
Warcraft, every PC game in fucking Imagine is filled with Asian people, especially Chinese people, which I knew a lot of people who played, like Counter-Strike, and I played lots of visual novels. And that's how my like game like taste started, because, you know, that's just what we had. So like I guess like when I came to America and I realized other people actually played console games, I was like, what the fuck? Like like how the fuck did that work out like for people? And so I honestly think it's an absolute charity work to have Genshin to be free, and it's also accessible on a phone, because like Chinese people are also really into phone games, and their phones are probably all really, really buffed.
I think it would have been more probable for it to be only available on mobile, and the surprising factor is that it is available on PC, because I think Honkai is not available on PC.
Yeah, but honestly speaking, it's crazy to me that it can run on a phone. I mean, I don't know if it can run on a phone anymore, but like it's humongous, and it's so...
You know, that's been a cause for concern ever since like we weren't even on version 2, and people were already very concerned about the size that the game was getting to. So I cannot imagine the state of affairs right now.
Yeah, but like it's crazy to me how like I seen how the game runs on a phone, and it doesn't run that poorly. Like I'm impressed.
It depends on the phone.
Well, of course, it depends. I know I have people who have fancy phones, so you know. But like it's kind of crazy how good it could be, and I also think this is my own personal thing that I think it is, but I think everybody who works at MiHoYo grew up in China in an environment where you basically had to pirate every single anime you wanted to watch, pirate manga, and play the games. And I think
Why do you think that?
because that's just the climate of China. Like, you couldn't buy like actual manga like in China. Like, you couldn't buy legit manga by legit like publishers because they don't publish it. So even if you buy things like, like I think you can buy One Piece, but like I'm pretty sure I own a whole collection of Attack on Titan manga printed really well in like nice paper, all of that, but it's completely pirated. Like somebody just pirated a whole Attack on Titan manga and then printed it just looking exactly like the actual version of the manga in Chinese.
I thought you meant there was something in the game that made you think that.
No, but like what I mean by that is like was the Chinese climate of anime and game players for the last 20 years. Is that you pirate everything you need because your country lots of people like to make fun of China being like, oh, Chinese people can't even watch One Piece correctly because they changed instead of Pirate King it's the Traveler King or something they censored out which is actually what happens. Like instead of calling it Haizei Wang, which is Pirate King, it's Hang Hai Wang, which means like a Voyager King.
Damn.
And which which becomes the actual legalized the localization of like Chinese if you buying the actual manga for it. But Chinese people didn't care. Like they watched TV shows 10 minutes an hour after it airs in anywhere else. Like people used to do live translations for any anime they wanted to watch. Like it's honestly speaking, if anything taught me about communism and why communism and socialism is good, it's not like living in China or anything of that. It's actually about free media is what taught me that. Like it made me understand that having knowledge is power, and having and able to access anything you want on the internet is good. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought China was communist, but I don't understand anything about politics.
China is it's fine. China they're like communists in capitalist clothing.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. It's very confusing. But yeah, it's good. It's free. How could it be free? But I know people whale. I know people whale very hard. Have you spent any money in Genshin yet?
Regrettably, yes. I have spent €5 twice.
Oh, that's not bad. If you bought Genshin as a Switch game, it would be $60. That's my friend thinks. She's like, if this is a free game, I will spend at least $60 on it because that's how much a Switch game.
Yeah, but then because the way buying for stuff in Genshin works is you either directly buy the things, the currency you use to summon people, or you buy this pass that every day gives you.
Oh, battle pass.
Yeah, every day gives you a small amount of that currency. And the thing is, because you need to log in every day, both times I ended up not collecting 20% of the rewards because I have to log in every day. I just burn down so fucking easily.
That's actually really funny because
burnout, I mean.
It's actually really funny because my friend does that. Basically, she's like, every day I wake up, I do an hour of Genshin and then I go on with my day.
An hour? See, I really hate that part of Genshin because you need to log in every day to make not only because in Genshin you have 4 daily missions and those 4 daily missions give you that currency to summon stuff. But 1 day worth of missions isn't even enough to pull once. And the thing is, doing those 4 missions takes you at least 4 minutes. So
4 minutes? I was clearly not doing well this episode. I meant 15 minutes. I think I just thought, 15 minutes. That's a quarter of an hour. That's clearly 4 minutes.
So every day at least 4 minutes is doing the same repetitive missions over and over and over.
You're funny.
That's why I stopped playing Genshin. One of the reasons.
But it's fine. You should. This is what you should do. Every 2 weeks you should log back in Genshin and get the Stardust reunion. Then that's what you should do. You should just farm that. Anyway, sorry, I'm just kidding. But my point is that I haven't spent a dime on Genshin, and I have decided that I will spend a dime on Genshin, and I'm having a lot of fun. And get fucked, everybody. I currently
check back in a year and mushrooms.
Oh no, fuck you! I'm not gonna spend a dime. I'm very, very serious about this. So serious to the point that I literally got my battle pass level 50 this month, and I'm not even gonna fucking spend $5 to get the rest of the fucking things. Like that's how much. That's how much will I have as a person.
To be fair, the rewards on the battle thing aren't that enticing, because for the price you have to pay, 5 summons and a weapon that's not even that good.
I don't care. Anyway, I have also, because I currently have 6,000 Primo Gems and 12 wishes saved up, so I can get to the
good job saving up.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter. I think, I like the fact that my teams are pretty tight, and the way that I get to just, focus. I got an Ito, though. I got Ito my last my...
Ito sounds so good in every language but English.
Yeah.
You hear him in Chinese and he's like, you hear him in Japanese, he's like, you hear him in English and he's like, I'm Arataki numero uno Ito or something like.
Arataki numero uno Ito.
Okay, I have to say this. This is my hard opinion, but I think English voice acting for this game sucks. Absolutely. Literally, half of the voice is pretty passable, and then the other half is literally unlistenable.
I would say most of them are pretty generic, but you have some that are really good. Zhongli being on the top.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember, but where are those who share the memory?
Then you got Venti.
Oh, but yes, come close and I shall let you in on her weakness. Desserts.
I mean, okay, let's talk about characters that have good voices and bad voices. Paimon, horrible. I like
Paimon.
Paimon's voice is so fucking annoying that, it literally ruins actually emotional scenes.
Well, I think you have wrong taste, lady.
Shut the fuck. It's so fucking annoying.
That's not true, and you know it. So insensitive. For the last time, Paimon is not emergency food.
It is so annoying. I was really interested because I wanted to see what her voice sounds like in we will return quests, and I literally listened to the last cutscene with her voice, and I was like, oh my fucking god, I can't take this scene seriously because she's the most fucking annoying thing possible. And,
you're playing with Japanese voices, right?
No, Chinese. Nationalism mark. Duh.
True. Fuck, I was gonna make some connections with Umineko voice actors.
Oh, I know Beatrice's voice actor is Ning Wang.
Is Ning Wang, yeah. Beidou is Rosa. Who else? There were some others. Also in English, Beidou is Dorothea and Shamir from Three Houses.
Yeah.
Kazuha is Sereth. Who else?
That's funny.
Ingrid. But I don't recall. Oh, Petra is Kaching.
Oh, Petra's Kaching? Oh, I see that. That's funny. But honestly speaking, I just fucking despise. Oh my god, Klee's English voice is awful.
Jumpy Dumpty go! Boing boing boom!
I love Klee. Chinese voice acting for Klee, adorable. So fucking cute. My mind is gonna melt.
Boom boom炸弹，全都可以照完，啦啦啦，火力全开，吼吼火花。
She's so good that I think she's gonna be on the next banner, so I'm really excited. I'm gonna save up for her.
She is really good. I think there's this song that was fan made, and then they somehow got 4 Chinese voice actors to sing it, and one of them is the Klee voice actress, and she sounds so good.
Yeah, Klee is cute as fuck. Horrible English voice acting.
I like her.
Yunjing is good. Yunjing is good in any language. Just saying, I love Yunjing.
听我号令， your grand finale.
Oh yeah, we talked about Des talked about what he doesn't know what his favorite character is, but my favorite character is Yunjing. She's my girl. I'm gonna cosplay her. She is so cute. I love everything about her.
Yeah, Yunjin is really nice. I really like her.
Yeah, Yunjing is great. I also I almost there's just a quest in Genshin that was like, wow, I almost cried for that quest. What the fuck? Like,
Was it
and, like,
Yunjin's and
yeah,
fuck? What's her
Yunjin's-
name? What's the name of the divine damsel of devastation? What's she called?
Shenhe?
Shanghe. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Shenhe's good. I like Shenhe. There's a lot of characters I don't have because I wasn't around when the thing get pulled. For example, like, this is a really fucked up thing. I have pretty good luck as a person who, like, doesn't pay for this game, but like, I sometimes just pull like I oftentimes get to pull like a temple and then get 2 characters.
Fucking
So
hell.
like I was really lucky on my last like 2 temples for the special banner for Ito. I wanted Kuki Shinobu, but throughout that banner I literally pulled, I got Ito on one of my banner, and then on the next banner I got both Goru and Jongyung, and I was like, fuck. Like I was like none of you are Kuki Shinobu, but I guess I will live.
Oh, okay. Mentioning Chungyun just reminded me, since you're on your nationalism arc, you definitely gotta use the national team. Hey, do you know what the national team is?
Yeah. I know what the national team is. I haven't tried it yet. Who's on the national team? I don't have Zhongli.
Okay,
so.
for context, the national team is basically the most busted character combination ever, and it's made of free-to-play characters. Not a single character in the national team is a 5-star. It's called national team because all characters are from Liyue. So
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's adorable.
it's Shangguin, Qingqiu, Chungyun, and fuck, who am I missing? It's the 4th friend, Bennett. Okay, no, Bennett is from Mondstadt, but fuck it.
I don't have Bennett yet either. I mean, for 5 stars in the game right now, I have like Ito, Ketching.
Well, Ito and Goro have a real good synergy together, so since you pulled both.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I'm thinking about eventually building myself an all Geo team just for fun, so I can use Goro, Ito, Yunjin.
Geo teams, when I left, they were becoming the most meta answer to most problems. Because Genshin... Genshin updates every update. They add something to change the metagame. And it's funny seeing how meta some characters are, depends on the patch.
Yeah. For example, my friends want to do this thing which is called all Barbara, like all like attack Barbara, like Oceaned run.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to show.
Those people are mad. they are mad.
Okay, so do you want to know? So right now I have the artifact that does the bubbles and it explodes and it deals shitloads of damage.
I have that on my Chi-Chi. It's so good.
Yeah, I have that on my Barbara. So it's really fucked up because my Barbara could just, do like, 2,000 damage, and then the fucking bubble bursts and it's like 20k and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. For everybody listening, this is an artifact set that basically is the answer to, okay, healers heal, but if you're playing good enough, you don't need a healer. So the healers...
So what you gonna do with your healer?
What you do with your healers? Well, this was an artifact set introduced in version 2 point something that basically makes it so every bonus healing you do that's not healing an ally because they already are at full HP, that gets added to damage that will be unleashed after like 3 seconds or something when the bubble explodes. So if you have a really good healer, you just basically got a really good DPS.
Yes, so my DPS Barbara is fucking cracked. She's my tank because she also has the most fucking health out of everybody. And she fucking kills. She could heal like up to like 10k like in like one like in her burst. It's just it's great. I fucking love my Barbara. I didn't even think like I thought Barbara was really annoying for a while to play because it's just the most annoying thing when you're trying to fight something frozen, but she is just such an effective healer. I want a Chi-Chi though. I really want a Chi-Chi. I know the song like...
I don't know how you don't have a Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is like the meme that everybody gets a Chi-Chi when they're trying to pull for someone.
Yeah, I know, but I have a C1 catching right now and I don't have a Chi-Chi and I want one. Give me a Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi also has a really nice Chinese voice.
Oh yeah, she's so cute. I love Chi-Chi.
欢迎光临布布卢，我是七七，七七已经死过一次。
do you want to talk about lore now, or
I
guess?
I had some points to make about the differences with Breath of the Wild from a gameplay perspective.
Oh yes, please.
So
Element. Yes.
element of
Sorry,
no. Yeah, I was mostly talking. I wanted mostly to talk about the exploration, but we can get into battle too.
Oh yeah, let's talk about exploration first.
Differences with the exploration. So obviously, the reason, myself included, people were really comparing Genshin to Zelda Breath of the Wild is because, open world, you traverse this world, you can climb mountains, you can swim, but then you stop to you can glide, but then you stop to think about it and you're like, okay, if I am making an open world game, how the fuck am I not going to implement these things? Like these are basically the staples of open world games. If you were to make an open world after Breath of the Wild and you didn't meet the standards that Breath of the Wild introduced into the genre, then it would obviously be an inferior game. So I don't blame them for taking what Breath of the Wild did right and putting it into their game. That's how genres evolve. Taking what worked in a game that worked really well and trying to expand upon it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it is similar, but I don't think that's like an object of criticism. Like, how the fuck would you make an open world game without a stamina bar?
Yeah. I honestly think there's another thing I really like about Genshin. When you fucking climb during rainy times, you don't fucking slip. The most fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, so I do want to talk about like the implementation of exploration, because that's actually something I think a lot about. I really like the fact about Genshin is that, how in Breath of the Wild, you basically have all these things like Koroks, and, while doing Koroks is fun, having 900 fucking Koroks in your world is pretty fucking daunting, and it's a lot of work, and it's honestly gets boring because it's just the same fucking puzzle all the time. What I think Genshin does actually really well is that it actually gives you like direct serotonin by, the Sealies that you have to guide around actually guides you to different areas of the game. Like, sometimes they place Sealies in a very specific order or a specific place where you could see it very easily, and then it leads you down like a path or like leads you to a view, which I think is like a genius way of game designing, because then you actually get to enjoy seeing like parts of the game that you might have not have noticed if you were like climbing wherever you wanted, or walking down your own path. And, I call them drunk fairies because they just look like fairies and they're really drunk.
They don't walk straight.
Yeah. So you're just like, you're escorting drunk fairies. And then when you get to Inazuma, you meet crack fairies because they look like they're on crack and they're like flying around really fast.
They're just zooming.
Yes. And like the difference in like, I find the puzzles, like there's so many different kind of puzzles and like world mechanic puzzles and just like.
I hate Inazuma puzzles. I don't understand how they work.
Oh, me neither. I literally hit Inazuma puzzles until they work, and I'm like, okay, now works. If I spend time hitting them too long and it doesn't work, I'm like, whatever, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
my friend,
exact same thing.
There's one time I was playing and my friend was literally looking at me, and I was walking away and my friend was like, are you not gonna like mark it? And I was like, nah, it's not fucking worth it. Next time I'm gonna be really mad when I come back here and then do this all over again.
Yeah, another really good thing about how that system works in Genshin that isn't as well done in Breath of the Wild is that the reward is like you get the reward immediately after clearing the thing.
And the reward is actually worth it.
It's not like you get a Korok seed and then you have to wait until you have 100 of them, and only then do you get your reward.
Yeah, exactly. And every single small thing you do in the game, like for example, exploring, like doing quests, it like builds to your bigger thing. Like it's either you get more materials to level people up, or you get more wishes, and like that's like the really fun part. So it actually really incentivizes you for exploration, because some days I'm just like, I don't want to do any quests, I don't want to go do anything, I'm just gonna point out a direction and start exploring. Like I do you have any area that's 100% yet?
I don't really like doing side quests, so I would bet I do not have any area 100%.
Oh, really? One of my first area that I have 100%ed is the Gale Song area. That's like it's like where the cliffs are. And it's like, I was really happy that I 100%ed it. It just means I found every single chest in that area. And I was like, yay! Makes me feel so good.
Oh, is that what? Oh, do you mean like the statues?
Like area.
Getting every sigil or whatever it was called?
No. Yes, getting every sigil and getting...
Yeah, I think I have Mondstadt completed. I'm missing one in Liyue. I think I'm almost there in Inazuma. I don't
That's
know.
good.
I don't remember.
I mean, it's really fun. Like, I find it incredibly enjoyable. Like, the exploration of the game, it's also so pretty. Like,
okay.
it's so fucking...
It depends on.
It depends on the area.
I have very big gripes with two areas specifically in Genshin.
Yeah, but I like them. Those I like both of them so far. I don't know.
I'm still trying to understand. I've been, on the introspection train, trying to understand why these two areas affect me like they do. Fucking, what's the area? What's it called at the other side of Inazuma? What the fuck is it called?
Economia.
Enkanomiya and the Chasm. They're just two very big areas with a very limited cover selection and very, I don't know, it's just something about those areas. They just make me...
I have to talk about, let's talk about them separately, because I feel like both of them have their strength and their weaknesses, but both of them are very vastly different from each other. I think it is.
Okay, in regards to Enkanomiya, I definitely understand that it's supposed to feel very empty and lifeless. But for some reason, like just the magnitude of it and the color palette, it just makes me motion sick. I don't understand why, but it does.
Do you have your motion blur on?
I don't know. Breath of the Wild did the same thing to me, and I still don't understand why.
Okay, so like for example, I actually really like the Chasm. Okay, so I think I have Stockholm syndrome with Chasm at this point. So I started playing literally when Chasm was introduced, the update.
Yeah.
So basically, I was racing to basically first, get far enough in the game, to even get to the Chasm, and then I had to race to, finish up the new update where the Xiao
the plot one, yeah.
Yeah, the plotline one, which, I didn't have that many days. I literally finished everything in 2 hours before the event ended.
I hate that. The fact that some plot is hidden is like limited time.
No. That plot is going to be there forever. You'll be able to play that.
But some parts of the plot are limited to some time and some rewards as well. So you gotta rush through it. Sometimes if you're not available in the first 2 weeks that the patch comes out, you don't have enough time to play, or you have but it's not enough, you gotta rush through it and it burns you out so easily. I don't like the dynamic of Genshin updates.
They don't, at least for this one, that you didn't, the plot is going to be there, but the rewards weren't gonna be there and the event, so that's why I wanted to rush to finish it. Anyway, I know that you don't really have that much opinion about music, but I think what makes Enkanomiya or especially Chasm super good is the music.
Yes, the music most of the time passes through me and I don't even notice it, which you could argue it's a good thing. It's like diegetic or whatever it's called. It's but Enkanomiya has such good music. I just couldn't help but notice the similarities with Nier Automata music. There's one part
100%.
Did you have the same thing?
No. No, I don't have that for Enkanomiya. I have that for Chasm because I haven't finished exploring Enkanomiya.
No, but it's on the it's a song that plays at the very beginning of Enkanomiya. There's a part of the song. No, that's the battle theme. I mean just the regular area song. There's a part of it that where it's building up and then instead of finishing bright, it just goes down again and it just reminds me of Nier Automata.
Yeah. I think the crazy thing is I fucking love Chasm. Chasm's music is so good that the last part of the Chasm battle theme, the last battle you have with the Nier Automata boss, I literally call everything I see. I'm that's a Nier Automata boss right there.
But to be fair, it is similar.
It is very Nier Automata. I also have a lot of opinions about this game and Nier, how it's similar too near, like not similar, but like has feels of gameplay.
Video essay on why Genshin Impact is every game ever created.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is that like the music in the last part of the chasm is perfect because chasm is the right now the only area in all of Genshin that has dynamic music where the battle, like the walking music and the battle music fits so perfectly fucking together like some knitted glove. And it just like, and like the part where it goes like da 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 da. Like, oh my god, when I heard that 4 bang, my brain literally short-ended that I had to like pause the game and then message like 4 people, because everybody who came in, like everybody told me, they were like, Chasm has my favorite theme, and I was like, okay, like I was literally like, okay. So I listened to Chasm and I was like, it's good, but it's not that good. And it fucking hits the last part. I was like, my mind is blown. There's nothing left. It has been pureed. Like,
yeah, the music is really good, really good.
It's really good. Just not even talking about these 2 areas music, but like I think that's what sells me about Chasm. Also because there's section of the Chasm I really like. Like I think like section of the Chasm is incredibly cool. Like the whole mushroom area was really cool.
Not biased.
Not biased. I love the mushroom section. And just like the small amount of quests you do in Chasm are already fascinating. Like I thought it was a good time, but I was seriously frustrated when I was traveling through it. Like, I literally had to ask my friend to help me, and I was like, where the fuck is this location? They're like, oh, easy. And they blew a hole on, like, a vertical shaft of a wall,
yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? How was I fucking supposed to know that? And they're like, And I was like, I fucking hate this game. And then I walked through it, and I'm like, wow, thank you. I am so much fun.
Yeah.
But I haven't traversed Economia to have too much opinions about it yet. It's confusing and I don't understand what I'm doing. And there's a lot of things I need to collect to open up things that I don't understand yet. But maybe I'll understand it more.
Yeah. Some time ago we were talking about the characters, and now we talked about the music, and we talked about the people making MiHoYo. So
MiHoYo.
I want to mention at least the creative team of MiHoYo, the part that's making the characters, making the music. They are all so inspired. Did you see the video they made when Yunjin came out about where they explain every little, how they thought of every little detail about Yunjin?
Yes, I did.
Yunjin was supposed to come out at the beginning of Genshin Lifespan, but they didn't release her because they wanted to like tune every little detail.
To build her correctly.
Yeah.
She's so cute. That's what I really like about like Genshin is like I feel like every character is crafted in a way that like they really cared. Like like for example, like Ayaka, like lots of people make fun of this fact, but like the Ayaka's dancing mocap was made by the CEO of like MiHoYo because they just really like wanted to give her a nice dance. And how like the whole reason why Barbara, even though she's a 4-star, has a 5-star animation is because everybody was like, I just like Barbara. She's really cute. We're gonna fucking give her a 5-star animation.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the thing is like the people who made Barbara, like the designers, like has an interview where the designer literally said they're like, I just like Barbara, and it doesn't matter that she's a 4-star and we're giving out for free. We are going to make her as cute as possible. And like they're like, I personally mocapped her dancing, like her movements.
That is so nice, actually.
Yeah, it's very cute.
And even on the business side, I think MiHoYo is definitely one of the less anti-consumer gacha companies, because they make such an effort to make the game as equal as it can be between free-to-play people and people who pay for the game. They give you so much stuff.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I don't feel left out at all. Like, I feel like I would feel way more worse if, like, for example, 5-star would be only attainable through, like, really rigorous, like, you know, rigorous paying. But, like, I feel like on a level, like, as a person who doesn't pay to play, like, I feel pretty level-footed as a person who, you know, just get to gamble for fun and then get people I want or I don't want. Like, for example, like, you know, I had, like, maybe, like, 30 polls in total saved up for the Ito banner that I was going to do. And I basically did all of that and then got an Ito. And I didn't even want him. And I was like, cool, now I have him. And, like, it doesn't make me feel bad.
If I remember correctly, I think a non-paying, a free-to-play player can get a 5-star every 4 months if they just play regularly.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, and maybe you don't even want every 5-star. So, you know, like, you don't even have to have it. And, like, all the 4-star characters are plenty fun. Like, I don't feel like I run out of content at all. Like, I still have, like, so many people's character quests that I haven't done yet.
And older characters still get their spotlight in quests that are coming out right now, like a month after that character was released. So it's not like you need to pull that character to see them interacting with the world.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, you know, it's kind of incredible. Like, I honestly think games should be free. Or, like, it's like, you know, you should, like, decide to pay for them. Like, despite of the fact that I don't want, like, no, my point is like, I don't even, like, you know, I'm not ever gonna pay for MiHoYo's, like, you know, like, all these, like, microtransaction part because I don't want to fall into the, like, habit of doing it. But, like, I would buy MiHoYo's official merch and art book. Like I want to pay them. Like, I want to give them money, but I just, like, the thing about me is not that, like, I worry about anything. Is that, like, I have a very addictive personality, and if I get into the habit of, like, you know, buying things like that, like, it would just be a bad habit to start. Like, you know, then I would just sink lots of money in it.
Like, if you buy figure of a character you like, then you're gonna have to buy the figures of every character you like from that series. That kind of thing?
Yeah. Yes. Like, you know, you just, like, you have the collection mentality and, like, stuff like that. So I don't want to start it, but, like, I want an art book of the Genshin itself. Like, I want to know how they designed. Like, and it's crazy to think how much they have planned for the game. Honestly speaking, we should do Genshin Part 2. Like, I don't even feel like we talked that much. I also have to leave soon, so that's why.
Oh, okay. How much time do you got?
Actually, I think I have, like, 10 minutes left. Like, I don't know if you can hear people in my background, but people just got into my house, and I think I have to leave.
Oh, okay. Then let's just do closing thoughts. What would you say to okay, no, not this question, because we've been telling people why they should play Genshin for an hour and 20. So, I don't know, what could be a good closing topic?
Like, I don't know, word of advice for people to get into Genshin, and maybe...
Okay, good, yeah, good word of advice. 1 or 2 things you'd like to know, you'd like to have known when you started playing Genshin. Besides, the plot's gonna get good, so pay attention.
Okay, so do you want to go first?
Okay, I guess I could go first. I would say... I think I need some time to think, actually.
Okay, I'll say my thought. My thought about my word of advice for people who are getting into Genshin now. 1, make a friend who have played Genshin since day 1 so they can make decisions for you. Like, don't spend your resin on things that you don't need. Where to allocate resource, like what kind of artifact you should give people, and how to do artifact farming. Okay. None of those things I personally understood until I, like, level, like, AR 45. Like, I basically would just, like, have my account screen shared to my friend, and she would just make all the decisions for me. Like, because there's a lot of random things, like random hidden things you need to do in Genshin, like level up talents, which is something I would have never knew if it wasn't because I had friends who told me about.
Yeah.
Or, farming for things like artifacts, which I don't fucking understand still. Like, my friend could look at an artifact and be like, that's a good artifact, that's a bad artifact. And I was like, I don't really understand what that means. And they would be like, well, Yunjing needs more defense and blah, blah, blah. Like, and then you just don't understand that. Like, just I think it would be really frustrating for a newcomer, unless you're into that shit, to, read lots and lots of blog posts and watch lots of YouTube videos about how to build a character correctly. It's probably easier if you just let somebody else do the decision for you for a while.
Yeah.
Until you, slowly learn it.
Okay, your ideas gave me ideas of what I want to say. So, my 2 words of advice are, number 1, get into the community, because the community makes the game so much better. All the different fan art, all different memes.
Oh, the fan art is amazing.
The community effort really elevates the love you're gonna feel for these characters and for the world.
And all the cool comics people draw and art, music,
and all the theories too.
Oh my god, so much theory.
We got some real brains in this community.
Yeah, we should do a spoiler. Yeah, next episode of Genshin, we should do spoiler episodes if you want. That would be fun.
Okay, that sounds cool. And my last word of advice is, don't trust anybody but Tenten. Tenten is the only Genshin YouTuber who actually knows what they're saying. So if you need help building a character or understanding the mechanics of the game, Mushroom, this goes for you too.
Okay.
Type 1010, like the number 10 twice and together. 1010 on YouTube, and only listen to his word. Only he knows how the game works. He's a Chinese theory crafter, which means he talks with the Chinese theory crafters who for some reason are just so much better at the game than the English-speaking part of the world. So, and he's the only Chinese theory crafter, to my knowledge, that makes videos in English. So there's your bridge. That's the person you should be listening to.
Amazing.
And that's my word of advice.
Yeah. Also, don't be frustrated if you can't finish. Also remember to do your world ascensions. Do them.
Yes.
People always forget about them, and if you can't beat it, eat some attack up food. Your life will be so much better when your world is ascended and you can get actual good, better drops. Don't be an idiot and be a person who's AR 30 and still running around in your level 2 world. Not a good idea.
Yeah. Also, another thing I didn't know that I had to learn as I went: theory crafter in the Genshin community doesn't mean you make theories about the war. Theory crafter means you make theories about the game mechanics and what's better.
Yes. That's when people are talking about meta, they don't mean any meta game. They literally mean how could you build your character to be the strongest character of all strong. And it's incredibly funny.
Yes. Another thing. Also, every character can be good. When people say this character is bad, they don't mean it's bad. They mean in comparison to other units, they fall really short, because any character can be good.
Unless the character is Amber, then your character is actually bad.
Yes, because Amber is just poorly designed. But
yeah,
there are people clearing the high levels of Abyss with Amber. So any character can be good if you put our mind to it.
Oh yeah. And that people, just like I said, people who have made Amber into the most powerful character of all time, they're either the nicest person on earth or they're a complete psycho.
True. All right. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm also set for now. I have so many more opinions, but honestly speaking, I can talk about Genshin for days. I should just do a Genshin podcast at this point.
Yeah, I guess you could. Not with me though, because I'm never gonna play Genshin again. No.
No, don't say that. But 3-4 hours are gonna come out, and there's gonna be a whole new era. You have to play with me.
I'll consider it.
Please, it will be fun. Oh yeah, we don't even have friend codes of each other.
I started playing in an European server, and I don't want to, I don't want to lose all my progress, characters, hours, everything.
Wait. Do you you can't switch servers? That's so upsetting. Oh, sad.
No, you cannot.
Okay, well that's it. Well, that's that. So we're done.
Yep. Tell us what you thought. And yeah, that's it. Play Genshin, I guess.
Yeah, play Genshin.
Play Genshin with Mushroom.
Yeah, play Genshin with me if you're in America. And if you're in Europe, don't play Genshin with Des, because he's not going to play with you.
True. Yeah. Anyway, That's it. See ya.
Bye.